Hello again, all you lovely witches and seekers. It's Ryan with Dark Winter Moon. And to those of you who are brand new, welcome. And to those of you that are returning, welcome back. I created this channel in order to discuss all things witchy and magical. And today, what I wanted to talk about are curses. Yes, curses. They're not what you think. So, curses are not what you just see in popular media. I want to expand that definition and talk about it. So, my definition for a curse is anything that stops or interdicts the action of another person. So, yes, that would include all of the things that we've seen in popular media, all of the grandiose actions, all of the destructive actions. But it also includes things that, even though they may not be the most pleasant thing for the person that is being cursed, they stop or prevent their actions from harming yourself or another. This whole discussion came about because I mentioned to a friend that I was thinking about cursing Vladimir Putin. And his immediate response was, "Oh, maybe you shouldn't do that. That's a really negative act. That's a really potentially harmful act." And he said, "What about having Vladimir Putin? What about causing all of the harm that he is putting out into the world right now, all of the negativity to come back on him?" And I thought about it for a second and I realized, that is actually still a curse because the ultimate goal is to stop Putin from doing what he's doing in Ukraine. The ultimate goal is to interdict his actions or to stop them. So let me give you an example of something that happened to me when I was a brand new wee baby witch. So I had a friend that was being very negative around me, and was just causing a lot of negativity to radiate out from him. And so, without even really realizing what I was doing in kind of a heated moment, I flung a shield at him. So, what do I mean by that? I'll put a link to energetic shielding up here and how to do it. But instead of putting it around myself, I created this mental, magical, energetic construct and flung it around him so that everything that he was putting out into the world was reflected back at him. So the inner surface of this magical construct was mirrored so that it was reflecting all of his negativity back to him. And then I didn't see him for a couple of days. And another one of my witchy friends was like, that energy work that you threw at him, it's made him really ill and sick. And I was like, oh my God. It's like, I didn't even realize I could do that. I didn't even realize what I was doing, but it stopped his actions. And if I had known what I was doing, I wouldn't have done things in quite that way. But traditionally, that action would not be considered a curse. But essentially, it is because I interdicted, I stopped what he was doing. So that brings me to a point. All magic has its price. In this case, when I inverse shielded my friend, when I shielded all of his negativity against him, he was forced to face it. And it was actually harmful to him in a sense. It was uncomfortable to him. It made him physically ill. That is not something that would normally be considered a curse per se, but it stopped and interdicted his behavior. And so, back to the Putin analogy, reflecting all of his negativity back on him would stop him, it would interdict him, and I would consider it a curse. And the consequences of that could also be that it drove him off the deep end. So, very important to understand and know the consequences or be prepared for whatever consequences that come out of you using this type of magic against someone. Another example is using black salt. And I have created my own black salt. I've talked about it before on this channel. So those of you that have been watching for a while have probably heard me talk about it. If not, if you're not familiar with it, quick rundown is black salt is basically salt with charcoal in it. and you charge it in specific ways. You can add other things to it to make it more powerful, but essentially it's used to protect your space. It's also used to remove someone from your space if you feel threatened or just no longer want them there anymore. And that is a cursing agent, in my opinion. It is a way to remove someone from your space, to stop their negative actions against you, and to stop destructive behavior. So there's also an incantation that I would like to share with you that I have used before, which could kind of technically be on the edge of cursing, but I'll let you make your own determination about that. And let me see if I can remember it without actually casting it. Words have power, so remember that as well. So it goes, blood go black and flesh turn blue. I will curse you if you force me to. By the left hand and the unclean food. I curse your lies. I curse your eyes. I call down a plague of flies. Blood go black and flesh turn blue. Evil from me and back to you. My heart clean and yours on fire. You mess with a witch, you get burned, liar. And unfortunately, I no longer have the book that came from, and I don't remember the name of the book or anything about it, honestly. And so I'm sorry I can't give credit for it. But essentially, this is one that I would still consider a curse because of all the aforementioned examples and definitions I've given you. It is something that puts negativity back on another person, especially if they're lying to you. It stops their behavior against you. So I would also consider that a curse. So when would I recommend using curses? I still would consider curses a last resort, and here's why. When you are interdicting or stopping the behavior of another person, you are interrupting their free will, which I believe we all have the right to our free and own actions. We are the masters of our destiny, and we get to decide what we do with our lives. But as with everything, the exception to that is when the free will of another person is infringing upon your own free will or the free will of vulnerable people. And the last course resort is to stop that behavior for a greater good, because you or those that are powerless are vulnerable, in danger, or threatened. And so those are the times when I do not feel like there is any ethical or moral reason not to use a curse. In fact, I would argue that when we are working to a greater good, to protect ourselves or others, that we are doing good by doing a curse, and that overrides the concerns of violating someone else's free will. Think of the good that could be done if Putin could be stopped in a way that would end the death and suffering happening to the Ukrainians. Would it not be something that all of us would probably try to do? I would wager that most of us probably would. So there you have it. That kind of covers this introduction to curses. As always, I really appreciate each and every one of you for watching. Please comment. I love to read your comments and I respond to them. I always respond. And your likes and your subscribes are crucial. I would love to build this channel to 1,000 subscribers and beyond. I'm at about 550 right now, which I'm super excited about, and I thank you all for sticking with me through this. Any way you can help would be appreciated so that I can continue to make these videos, even if it's just liking and subscribing. I also have a Patreon that I'm still trying to get off the ground, so if you would like to support me that way, all that information is linked below, or check out my page, book a reading with me, check out my Etsy, all of it's linked below. Anything that you can do is greatly appreciated. And as always, blessed be. Have a wonderful weekend, and I love you all. Mwah.